Yeah. How about now? Okay. I figured it out. My son was playing with the microphone. Yep. Shit. This is how awesome I am. There's like a little button here and it's like flashing. I didn't even notice it. I gotta remember, don't let the kids play when the bloody tactic number 1. Don't let kids play with your shit. And that, so unfortunately, the top tip, the top secret, you couldn't actually hear because it was on mute, but I can't say it again because okay, right, we shall start again. Hi, it's Rob here from Woodward Games, and today we've got a live question and answers about what are we doing? Blackout Rugby. Blackout Rugby. We're going to look at what do you call it? Tactics, games, and everything like that. Let me know where you are watching from. Okay, let me know where you're watching from, and if you have any questions whatsoever, just chuck them in the chat and everything like that. So let's have a look. So screen sharing out of there. So let's just go put that up on the screen. Have a look at this. Ta-da! We've got Woodward Games here. You can see all the money I've got and everything like that. That's better. I actually got a great question here just before we begin, while we wait for the multitudes to turn up. From James. Have a look at this. When doing training, do you train all players or do you select players by position? Forwards only and backs only, for example. Okay, brilliant question. Let's go have a look. Okay, let's look at Woodward Games. Now, I'm going to go to here. I might just hide that for a second so we can see the screen. There we go. Let's hide that for a second. Okay, so training. Here we got training. Basically, what I do is I have them divided into forwards, okay, like that. I've already done the training today, and backs. This is for the, it's hidden on my screen, technical. So for the technical training, I go chuck all the forwards together and all of the backs, the backs and the forwards. But sometimes I train them all together. For example, if I get an epic, what do you call it? Like an epic tackling card or something like that. Like tackling, I find useful for forwards and for the backs. So what I'll do here is I'll chuck in I'll go like for a defender one. Okay, there's got no one here. All of these other ones that I have here, the new regimes and everything like that, I use it to store cards for future training. So for example, I don't know which one, I should actually change the title of these, like forwards or something like that. It'll make my life easier. I've got them all mixed up: kicking, line breaking, defender. For example, here, I haven't used these cards at all. So if we click on it, it'll take us to down here. So I've got a counter-rucking, epic counter-rucking card that I never used. Oh, I haven't used yet. I just, I can use this later. But perhaps that same day I had some other cards that were better, and I thought, I'll just save this for later. And a level 5 tackling card, okay? Now, normally, the reason it's so empty at the moment, let's hide that. There it is. So the reason it's so empty at the moment, because I've been using all of my energy up. I usually store a lot of cards here. For example, if I go down to, there's another defender one. I could probably chuck him up with the other ones. Makes it easier. Yeah, there it is, counter-rucking. So get that one out of there. And we'll go up to this one here. Where is it? Here. So just keep them all in the same style, in the same, what do you call it, group. So counter-rucking, and tackling. So like with these cards, like my next training, what I could do is I could have it the defender one, because what is the defender one? It is, cancel, I want to say that one. So for example, the defender one, it's got tackling at 30 CPL, which is club player level or something like that. I always assume it's like 30% or something like that. And counter-rucking 10% or CPL. I always think of them as percentages. I don't know why. It's like bonuses of energy or whatever it is, or bonus training in that area. So I always think of it like 30%. It's probably more than that, but anyway. All of these details are things. Okay, so we've got tackling. So what I'll do is I'll probably add in an epic tackling card, and then I'll add probably like this other, where is it? So I'll probably add an epic tackling card, and then I'll add this one after it in the second position. Now, when you have two, like for example, if I had played this one here in this order, it's not the best. You always make sure you have your epic card in the first slot. Why is that? Because if you have two cards of the same type, the second card will only work at 50% of its value. Okay, so instead of here it says provide this skill points for a specified technical skill equal to 20% of the club level. And so instead of doing that, it will actually be 10%. Okay, whereas if I put, oh shit, check my internet connection. Did you see that? Anyway, so you got distractors, like those are the type of things that freak you out when you go live. It's like your internet connection and shit. I'm like, oh no. Anything else want to happen tonight? At least we don't get earthquakes here in Auckland. Well, very rarely. Anyway, so what you want to do is you have your epic card in the first position. So, oh shit. So what I'm going to do is grab them out. So I'll chuck the counter-rucking in the first position, the epic one, the 5-1 here, and I'll say it's ready in a moment. So here, you got a total of 27.5% in counter-rucking, okay? Whereas if I had done it the other way, it'd be 15 plus 10, which is 25%. So it's a 2.5% increase if you have your epic done before. But with this, with the defender one, I wouldn't actually do that, because with the defender, it's counter-rucking is only like a secondary skill. So I would only do that like with the tackling cards, okay? If I had one where counter-rucking is number one, I would do it then, okay? So now with defender, personally, this one here, if I get a tackling, counter-rucking, or rucking, I would train all my forwards and my backs in the same one. You've got like a brilliant button right up the top here, which is like this. So you just click on that, and then they'll all become available, hopefully. So I can just unclick here, click here, and now they're all chosen, okay? So for when I play my defending, they're all training in, as simple as that, they're all training in defending, like with tackling, because personally, I think all of the training, all of the players need tackling, all of the players need rucking and counter-rucking, because, you know, if they're getting tackled and they're trying to rip the ball off them, your backs need counter-rucking and rucking too. And also when they tackle someone, they also have a better idea of ripping them off ripping the ball off the other person. So it's not just your forwards doing that. And that's just my personal preference. Just remember, anything I say today I just made up. It's just from experience, guesswork, looking, seeing, just thing. Like, I'm not one of the devs. I'm not part of the team or anything like that. And like many managers here, we just, from experience, and just get to know, maybe right, maybe wrong, but it works for me at least. Anyway, so I've already done my training. So, but the only problem is when I want to put all of my backs back here, I have to just go through one by one, go through all of these. Okay, this is the boring part. And make sure you unselect them. Usually they're all together, so that's all right. Just make sure there's nothing else there. Now at the moment, they're not in any training. Go here, click up the top, boom. Now these are all the backs and the forwards. So depends on the cards. Like if I've got a kicking card, your forwards honestly don't really need it. I have done it sometimes, but it's very rare that I do. Like if I'm in a hurry and I can't be bothered unclicking all of the people, I'll just give them kicking anyway. They might use it, they might not, who knows, anything, yeah, who knows. But in general, if it's like, or even catching sometimes, like catching, I can put them all together because the, what do you call it? The lineouts, the number 4s and 5s, that everyone can use catching. Like the ball goes up in the air and they're just like, here it comes. What do I do? I haven't had catching, so I'm just going to look the other way. No, it's just grab hold of the ball. Or some of them like that. But in general, I divide them into forwards and backs. Also, something that I've been doing since, I've had a like level, I've got 2 level 30 teams now, is I almost always, not always, but almost always use epic cards and or level 5 cards. It's very rare that I'll use a level 4, 3, 2, or anything lower than that, because it's not training the beasts that I want. So I also see what I've got and everything like that. For example, if we go to Woodward Saints, you can see like all of this, guys, it's like filled up with stuff. Okay, and like line out throwing, and you see I've got one of the blue cards here. I mean, normally I store the red cards here so they don't, like you have to use the red cards, the what do you call them? The training cards. They need to be played that day because at midnight they disappear. So what I do is I save them in all of these here. Like I'm filled up. Oh, got a space here. Okay, so what I could do here, I've got 16 energy. I've only got like a 2. I could put a 2 rucking here, which means I'm down to 14 energy. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll just grab a random like this one here. I've got 10 of those, counter rucking. So later, if I ever need extra energy, I can say, oh man, I need energy for whatever it is I'm doing. I just go check out what's available here. And then I'll see, I can just get rid of that. And it doesn't disappear forever because this is a blue card, which is saved forever. I'm just using it as my way to store energy for, I don't know, for emergencies or for, I don't know, for anything really. You just never know. Like I pretty much won't use these level 3 energy mauls. I won't use 3 energy rucking or anything like that because, yes, just at this level, you need as much of an advantage as possible. Why train the player at 9% maul when you can have 15%? It's like 6%, just so you know, a 6% difference, which can just increase that level even just a little bit more. And these are little things that make a difference. Of course, when you're starting out, many times you got no option. You got no option. So you just play what you have. But as you start increasing, start saving cards and things like that and start perfecting. Okay, so we're done. Don't need to save that. So, and also you're talking about, just continuing with this question here. So when doing training, do you train all players or do you select players by positions? Now, with the physical, so if I just go to the physical here, if you look at this, I've got pretty much, I've been experimenting, you could say. So, for example, in the physical at the moment, I have everyone or almost everyone here. Okay, in Woodward Saints, I've got everyone in the all-rounder regime, which means they train one of each skill. Before, what I was doing, I would train them, for example, let's go to Woodward Games and see if I've got one of my old tactics. No, I've got some, here, like centers. So for the centers, I'd give them extra power. Okay, 1 extra power. So instead of the power, I'd take away strength. But before, okay, here's a good example. I used to train my flankers in this. Used to, not anymore. For example, I'll ignore coordination. I would ignore acceleration. I'll just ignore these things. And I'd give them extra agility and extra of something else. There it is, strength. Okay. But what I started discovering, if we go to, for example, some of my players, especially some of the older players, let's go look for some old dudes. Okay. You'll see like they're really hyped up in strength and endurance and power, and everything else is quite low. Okay, about a month ago, it was even lower. They'd have like maybe 20 agility or 15 acceleration. And I was like, I was losing some matches, like, and I noticed a lot of the other players had more what I call rounded players. Maybe not so extreme like 99 or even higher. But they'll be all like maybe about 90-ish, and all of these ones are up high, and I think that can make a difference. So now I'm experimenting, just going a rounded training session here, except for I've got some hookers here. Yes, I love my hookers. And I've got these ones training in extra strength and extra, God knows what the other one is, coordination, because, for the throwing. Why is that? Because that's what hookers excel in. Coordination, they've got to juggle the balls around a bit. And strength, they've got to be strong, they've got to have endurance. And I removed these. The reason is because these ones I'm never ever going to use in my team. I'm going to sell them later, and they're going to be pumped up. The juices are going to be pumped up to sell later. So yeah, like I buy them cheap and sell them at horrendous for horrendous amounts. Okay, not much. I get a little bit of a profit, just keeps me entertained. Basically, the reason I do this is because some of the, what do you call them? The union challenges. Some of those are, they said buy a player, sell a player, or something like that. So I buy players that I'm not going to use, and then I pump them up a little bit, fill them with steroids, and then, yeah, I buy 18-year-olds. And then I sell them off. I sell them into slavery. Anyway, so we're going to... So as I was saying about the main topic, I won my, okay, I didn't know that. I won my league match. Actually, I haven't seen it. Get your rewards. Okay, so this is actually against a great team. It used to be a great team. Asa Bain, he had 3 teams, and they're like really hard to beat. This is one of them. Okay, so we want to go to, where do you want to go? Squad. So everyone's asking about tactics and things like that. Okay, if you're new to the game, welcome. It is so good to see that now we have around, let's go check out. Let's see how this progresses. Holy shit. 38,000 players, okay? Some of them just come in once and go away. Hopefully most of you stay around and enjoy the game. It is a lot of fun. Yeah, you get to... Ooh, I'm not number 1. Anyway, we'll remedy that. Let's see if I can get up to at least number 6, which is going to be hard because you've got that team. Anyway, so one of the things people have been asking about is tactics. So first of all, where can you change your tactics? Well, one of the first things, you go over to your squad. Okay, this is like before we go into the game plans, because tactics can be divided into 2 things. You've got your lineup about where everyone is on the field, and then you have these game plans. Okay, got lots of different game plans, and I only use like 1 or 2 all the time. But we'll talk about that in a moment. We'll have a look. We'll see the secret sauce. It's hot and spicy, sticky, smelly. Anyway, so basically the first part of the tactic is, you'll notice here, it says prop, number 8, flanker, lock. I've got a wing in number 9 position, got a fullback at 11, wing here, full. It's like, and you're thinking, what the hell is going on? It's because when you train them, sometimes they change. For example, I remember Tuvaka, originally, he was a number 9, which is a scrum half. He's getting old. He's a scrum half. And if you look here, if you click at this one here, it says at the moment his optimal position is wing, but I know, because I know Tuvaka, because in Spanish it's like saying your cow, Tuvaka. Okay, cows with a C, but that's something else. So he's a scrum half. I always kept him at number 9. I trained him. He's a star player, so I wanted him to be my star scrum half. And just with training, because of the random cards that came out and everything like that, he's in the wing. But it does not matter because he's a level 83 wing, but he's also a level 82 scrum half. It's probably less... he's not like a full, like scrum half is not his number one position at the moment, because I haven't had many passing cards in my or epic passing cards coming through for the training and things. So I've had a lot more of the skills that the wings need. Okay, I just clicked a button. I'm not too sure. Help, best position. These help buttons are actually really good. And this is, wow, didn't know this. Learning something new every day. I just usually go to the wiki, but I can go here now. So you know that your props in general, it says your scrum, the category 1, like the best things, are the scrums and the strength. Then you got the category 2. So the category 1s are the most important things that these players need. For example, obviously the hooker is the person who throws the ball into the lineout. He needs lineout throwing and strength because he's also in the scrum, okay? And these are the level 2 abilities and your level 3. So you want to pay a lot more attention to these. For example, the scrum half, he's got passing and ability, the main skills he needs. He's got to be very quick getting the ball out and passing it off. But you'll notice that over here, he's probably got a lot better like line breaking and speed and everything like that compared to the scrum half position. So, but it doesn't matter because he is still a level 82 scrum half, which is still good. So when you're like looking at who goes where, and you think, for example, I don't have a scrum half in my entire team. It doesn't matter. You just see which one is best for that position. For example, I know, click on here, he's a scrum half, he's level 82. That's pretty good. Or if I ever needed a fullback, I could throw him back to the fullbacks, or a fly half. He's like level 80 fly half too. And then all of the rest pretty, yeah, okay. So first of all, so these here, they do not need to say lock, like Wheeler. Do you think he's good for the prop position? Like he's 207 centimeters and he's like 140 kilos because we aren't allowed higher than 140 kilos. Damn. I wish I had kept that player now, but anyway, it was like 155 kilos. So he's not very good for being a prop at 207 centimeters. Okay. So basically, remember, just a quick overview, your props ideally need to be shortish. I normally go for under 185. They need to be heavy too. Also, your number 4 and your number 5, these are your locks. They need to be your tallest players. For example, he's 207. And if we look at my number 5, he's 202. Okay, which is, I try to always have my locks over 200 centimeters. Okay, the higher, the better. But it's not easy to get these players of these heights sometimes. Now, we've got my level 6, 7, and he's 200. So if I ever need another lock, I could put, it says he's a lock, but I got him into number 8 position. He's like pretty close to being number 8. I could put him in there. So basically, depending on your players, just chuck them in here. But I think what you're more interested in, like this part's quite the easy part. Oh, just one very quick thing. If you want to change your captain, you got the C here, click it, drag it over here. Now Mickey is my captain, but I want to keep him as the captain. How do I know who would be best as captain? Just click the default and you can go down to leadership. That's the skill that captains need. And if I know that, okay, actually Tamochi, he's actually a better captain instead of Tepua. I think that's because I'm trying to get his, he's 31. Okay. I was trying to get him up. Maybe he was injured. Tamochi was injured, so I just left it on there. But ideally, it should be like this. And look, yes, you can have captain and kicker being on the same player, no problem whatsoever. And if I go to kicking, I can sort them by who has the best kicking. I kick here. And again, Tomochi's got level 80 kicking, which is pretty good. That's good. I didn't realize that. Yeah. And Tepua, he's got level 77. So if I wanted, if this guy ever gets injured, I'll probably chuck the kicking onto him. Okay. And how you do that, you just like grab, that's the captain, I'll just chuck it there. I'll drag the kicking here, put that back. Okay. You can just do that. So I'm just going to put the kicking over there again. So that is how you choose your captain and your kicker. Okay. So, but the positions, you can change it. Like, for example, something that I often look at is form. Connection lost. Check the internet connection. Okay. If that keeps popping up, it's probably just, I don't know what it is. Connection with the game itself. Okay. So something that I do quite often, okay, I get cards for form. Where do I get those cards for form? In the psychology building, if you upgrade it, if we go here, you've got a chance to getting a form card. So a tier 1, if you upgrade it, you can choose any of these options here. Look at these nice designs, the new designs. They've only just come out, or they're going to come out, not too sure. I'm sure they've come out already. Yeah, so at tier 1, it gives me a 3% chance of receiving a level 2 form card, okay? Which is like, there's a chance to get a form card. And then what I've done is I've pumped it all the way up to, I have a 58% chance of getting a form card from level 2 to level 5. That's pretty good. It's like pretty much every second day, every couple of days, I can get a card, or a bit more than every couple of days. Just depends on my luck, basically. And why is that important? Because with a part of the tactic is your players need to be in the best form possible. If I quickly look at this, my lowest one has a form of 3. And what does the form do? Let's have a look. Form is, a player's form can go up and down as the season progresses. Form is checked after certain periods of time, blah, 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 blah. Form has a rating from 1, the worst, to 5, the best. Okay. If a player has a form above 3, then their skills, can I highlight this at all? Yes. If a player has a form above 3, as in 4 or 5, their skills and attributes will be boosted. So instead of having 80 in kicking, like if he's like a level 3, if he's like, I'm sorry, not level 3, if he's got form 3, if he's got form 3 and he's got 80 kicking, which is a very good kicking, if he's got level form 4 or form 5, he might have, I don't know, the percentage might be 85% kicking or 90% kicking, and 90 level kicking or whatever, because of form. But if he's if he's got form 1 or 2, which means, okay, he's got 80 kicking with level 2 or form 2 or form 1, it might mean instead of having 80 kicking, you might have 70 or 60. I don't know the exact specifics because it's one of those things in the match engine that no one knows, but yes. So form only adjusts player skills and attributes in the match engine, okay? And the effects of form do not show up on the player information, so you don't know exactly the percentage boost. Okay, so it's a percentage boost. Yeah, basically. So form can have a sizable impact on a player's skills and attributes in a match. So you should factor in these when you consider selecting your team. So basically, this one here, he has, so his kicking is 77. Or passing is 77. If he has level 5, it might be 75, might be 80, might be 90. We don't know the specifics, but we just know it increases. So when you're setting up your lineup or your game plan, make sure or try, in my experience, to have no players with only 2 or 1 form, because their level's going to be a little lower. There could be another player that's actually better. And for example, I know Tovaka, He's like level 5, so he's going to be like, he's going to be full of juice. Missin, also my center, he's top level. His, instead of just having, I don't know, 74 tacking, he might be like have 80 or 85. He might be, really good. His speed, he might be quicker. He might have better agility. Here's an example of a player that didn't train very well. He's only got 18 strength, which for me is not the best. Even though he is a center, I'm trying. In the past, I did it a lot. They were very rounded. But then I went through a phase, like just experimenting, seeing how high I can pump up their key skills. Now I'm back to the thing where it's like, I prefer more rounded players. So when you're setting up your tactic, pay attention to the form of the player, because it can influence his abilities or skills quite a lot. And I'm not too sure, it might have something to do with injuries. I don't quote me on that, but I remember somewhere, might be in Blackout Rugby, this version or the class, something about if their form is lower, they might have more possibility of an injury. I need to double check that though. So always check that the form is the best. Also, the same with the health. We got anything I can click on here? So with the health, injury. Here it is. Be careful if someone's injured. If they get a giggle injury, it goes from 80%, drops to 80%, a minor injury to 60%, and a moderate injury to 40%, and severe injury down to 5%, okay? Now, the thing is, if you put them on the field, there is a possibility that they will get injured again, okay? Or that's a chance of injury severity. So if you put them there, there's like more of a chance, okay, of them, the current injury, none, there's a 70% chance they're going to have like a little annoying injury. But if he already has a niggle injury, and then it means it's going to increase his chance of having a minor injury and so forth. So if you have an injured player, please, well, personally, I take them off the field that day, just for one match. I mean, one match doesn't normally matter because they can get injured more. I mean, you have to wait more. So form is one of those things that you need to pay attention to. And so these are the things that I look at when I'm looking, okay, I'm going to plan my tactics for my next match. I see who is injured. Is there anyone injured? No injuries. Sweet. If they're injured, take them off. I've got a replacement. I've got lots of good players that can replace them here. Also, their form. If their form is crap, like for example here, I always go down the bottom and see who's down the bottom. Okay, I've got no one here. Okay, what's my substitute, my backup player, whatever it is, he's like 2 or 2. It's not good. I think that's why he's like 207, and I've got him on the bench, even though he's like a very good lock. But he's also young. He's still needs to get more experience. But he's like form 2, so I don't really want him. If I get a form card because of my psychology building over here, my psychology building where you can increase it, like here, I'll probably apply it to one of them or try and get them up to level 4 or 5 at least. Okay, so going back to the squad. So this one of the main things is that the lineup, about when you're organizing your tactics. Go to the lineup and see, which players are in best form and in their correct positions and everything like that. But then we have the game plan. And the game plan is here. You decide, you can either have your first 15, your youth. I set up one specifically for youth too. These are my youngest players that I'm trying to get up to the level to be in the first team. I put them all in here, except for Tabua, because I know it's just good there. I don't have my these 2 star players in here because they're getting old. And also, it's like I need some of these other players to come through the ranks immediately. So with the tactics, like for example, ladder challenges, which I can probably do soon, I use youth almost always, okay? Just because the more ladder games that you have, the more they increase in experience. For example, if we go to this guy here, he's 23, he's already hardened. Okay, look where he is. He might have, how many, let's go have a look, see how many, no, stats. If we go to stats, how many, he's been in 480 matches, competitive matches. Okay, these are all ladders. There must be a place where you can see how many league matches. Let me have a look. I'll probably do this one here. Okay, no, league matches played. So he's only played 36 league matches. I've just brought him in. Why is that? Because I'll probably use my youth team in a league match against one of the lesser teams, like at the bottom of the table. I will often put my youth team in here. For example, if we go to the competition, let's go to, fixtures, league, this league here, okay? So if we go to this league here, I would probably use a youth team for pretty much the bottom four. I'll double check. For example, I know Bad Moons is one of Jack's teams. Yep, I would use a youth team. I'd use a youth team because I know Hayden's one of the, yep, there's the other Jack team. Jack's the one. He's probably, we've got like 36,000 new teams. He's got like 35,000 of them. That's what Steve said in the chat, something similar. I thought, it made me laugh. But anyway, because Jack is one of the devs here and he's got like about 40, 50 teams. I'm not too sure how many. It's just like to experiment with and everything like that. So sometimes they do appear. Okay. So with these teams here, I would like, this is Billy Carolina. Don't know who this person is, but it seems to be an active person. One day ago, maybe they've only just got to level 30 and they're just getting used to everything. But the bottom four, I would definitely use my youth team for these types of teams, just to get their experience up, because they need match experience. Because personally for me, I find that having excellent experience is important. Match experience is gained through competitive match. Experience will enable a player to perform slightly better when playing. It will take a lot of competitive matches to increase, blah, blah, blah. Here it is. The actual impact of experience is hard to judge for a manager. So the actual formula of the system is buried in the match engine itself. And you will not see its impact on player info screens and such like. At the moment, the only way of judging the potential experience of a player is to look at how many competitive matches they've played under their stats tab. The difference between match experience and composure is that match experience applies to all areas of the match engine, whereas composure is only triggered or enabled in certain situations and with certain actions. Okay, so that's why I think the experience of the players very important. And for example, me, I can actually do this right now. Let's go to the comps. In the ladder here, so if I go up, for example, I'm just going to take on Blitz Squad immediately. I'll do the challenge. I'll use a med pack so that I don't get any injuries. Oh, shit, I haven't even done a match today. Okay, here it is. Normally I do more, just lowered in ranking, but whatever. So I'll just use my energy card, whatever it is. Let's go. Now what I will do is I'll click on this and I'll use my youth. And I'll probably just use my scrumming up. I'll show you that tactic in a moment and why I use it. So, and I don't use any epic cards unless I'm like going for number 1 for the first time in a season, maybe. But even then I don't, because I know I've got many more opportunities during the season to get to number 1. I've been number 1 already a number of times this season. Now Waikato's up there. Waikato. A very good team. I want to show you a match. I'd like to show you a match. We're in the finals just about every year. There's Woodward Games versus Waikato every single year in the New Zealand Cup. Great games, hard games. Okay. So I've already got this match happening against Blitz Squad. And again, for me, the ladder, even though I'm number 7 in the world, it sounds impressive, but, whatever. It's just my teams are just, it's got some good players more than anything. And a lot of the players in the ladder use it for training of their younger squads. For example, how's it old Phil's teams? Was it the Lynx and the other one, the Belmont one? Oh, I cannot lose to you. I try. You've got your tactics in such a way because I try not to beat you. And I was like, oh, why do I laugh at this? Because many people are like, oh, they want to increase the ladder. Whereas if I go to my other team, Woodward Saints, at the moment, I would do a match here too. I'm level 16. I don't want to be there. Why is that? Because if I load the higher ranks, you only have a certain amount of teams you can play against. So, for example, at the moment, I can only go up to level 8. I can only do these challenges. Whereas if I'm way down the bottom somewhere, I can have more challenges if I want. In the end, I never do it anyway, but, So, for example, okay, I'm going to do a challenge anyway. I just do these. So I've already used my daily card. I'll use one of these cards. And let's go. So I'm against Lathos Reds. And I just go to youth. And I'll leave my default tactic, which is scrum up. What is that? It's a terrible tactic where I try to lose. Okay, but sometimes it just works. Oh, I got a league match. Okay, didn't see this. Get my rewards. You see that when you're first starting out, you can you can go to the match and watch the replays so you get an idea of how everything is. But I'm just like used to it, and just for time, I just don't do that. But when you're starting out, watch some of them so you get used to how certain tactics and things work. And we'll have a look at some of the tactics in a moment. Okay, so we're going to my squad. And why did I choose? I'll show you. Okay, lineup. So you can choose your teams here. So if you want, you can add another lineup. You just create new lineup. So I always have a first 15, which is my main team, which in case I have strong, important battles. I have one, which is my youth team, which are the young players that I want to be in my first 15, but they're not ready yet. So I put them in so many ladder matches and league matches, if it's possible, against lower level teams, just to get their experience up, which for me is very important. I also have another tactic, another lineup, where I've got my backs and forwards in opposing positions. For example, I've got my wings in the forwards position, and I've got my backs in my forwards in the back position, like the reverse to what it should be, okay? And why is that? Because sometimes I really want to lose, and you just experiment, try different teams, try different things. Now, the most important thing here is not the most important thing, the next important thing here is the game plan. Now, you've noticed I've got Scrum up as my default game plan. So when the season begins, or when you've got cup matches, or first when the season begins, for example, I don't want my team normally playing Scrum up because it's not a good tactic. And why do I do that? Because if someone does a friendly against you, like if they're in one of my opponents in the league, for example, Wolves or Dre or Welsh Warriors or whoever it is, they're like, oh, if I want, I can do a practice match against Drea, for example, or Wolves, okay? I can have a practice match against Wolves. So I can click on here and I can have a practice match challenge to see what it would be like against this team. The thing is, I don't know if he's got his default tactic is the one he uses in the league or not, or if he's got basic players or whatever. And the reason I do that in case I get challenged and they don't know the real level of my team. They can't figure out my tactics or whatever. Okay, I mean, everyone knows my tactics, but you can watch games, you can watch past games. If I want to know about, I don't know, Wolves tactics, we'll go, or the Welsh Warriors one, I'll go to this one and I'll use my worst tactic ever. Okay, and you can go to the match and watch the replay to see how it works. So I bet you're curious, what is this scrum up thing? Let's go have a look. Let's go have a look at this scrum up. Okay, so if we go to the game plan, this is the Woodward Saints. It's no longer my baby team. It's like been around for 2 years now. This is the reason I have scrum up, because it's not a good one. Because in summary is basically up, scrum. Every time there's a penalty, I just have a scrum. Doesn't matter how close I am, where I am, it's a scrum. If I'm in my 22, I'm going to have a scrum. If I'm in their 22, I'm having a scrum. I'm not kicking for goal. I'm not doing anything else. I mean, scrum's all right. But the problem part is this one here, up and under. I've got it at 100% in every single position, okay? Now, this one here, this tactic here is, you don't want to copy this unless you want to do the same thing that I do, is just have a terrible tactic as default. But sometimes it's been winning, so I need to check into that a bit more. Okay, so this is the game plan. This is where you change or make your plans. Okay, let's start off over this side here. Oh, no, this side's the boring side. It's always the boring side. Let's go over this side here. Okay, so we're going to go to the first one here is the kicking. Now you need to notice here you've got your own 22 in your own half, in their half, and their 22. So what you need to do is for the kicking, you need to decide what you want to do in every quarter, you could say. For example, in this terrible tactic, which is scrum up, in my own 22, I go up and under. Here I go up and under. Why is that? I just trying to get rid of the ball. You know, I try and just kick it up in the air and it comes down, and whoever gets the ball is for them. Because sometimes I don't want to advance very highly in the, what do you call it? In the ladder. So that's the kicking. Now you've got three things here. Okay, you got territory. Territory is basically you're just kicking it straight down the field. Okay, like to the opposite. So you're in your own half here, and you might kick it to their half, or maybe their 22, depends on how good your kicker is or which part of your own half you're in and everything like that. Now, with the territory, it's something I'm not too fond of. I will use it every now and then because you're just basically giving it to the other team. And I don't like giving the ball to the other team. I mean, you can do up and unders that can also do the same thing. But you're just kicking it straight down there, and usually it goes straight to a player. And the problem is it'll go to one of their backs. It could be their, what do you call it? Fullback. It could be one of their wings or whoever's down the back there normally, often a fullback. But often the fullback, he gets the ball and he's got no one near him. So he's going to grab the ball and he's going to, okay, I'm just going to start my acceleration increases. I'm getting some speed. Then when the other player comes in contact with, for example, I'm the fullback, comes in contact with me, he bounces off sometimes, and he can just advance quite a lot. And sometimes he can actually break the line. That's why sometimes I'm not too fond of territory. I do use it sometimes, but it's not common. Probably one of my favorites is this one here, touch. What does that mean? Touch is when you just kick it from wherever and you try and make it go out, either on the full or bouncing. I've never seen that actually. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah. So basically what I do almost always when I'm in my own 22, I'll have touch up to 100%. Because as soon as I get the ball, I don't want to stay on the ball, because if I got the ball and I get tackled, someone might take it off me. And they might take it off me really quickly. And then they're really close to getting a try. And I don't want that. Basically, I almost always have in my own 22, like 100% touch. Like just kick it out. And it might go up to, usually goes up to around halfway or a bit after or a bit before, depends on where I am. And then it goes to a line out for the other team. And if there's a line out, there's also a possibility that you can get the ball back. And you've gone like halfway up the field, which is quite good. Okay. So that's what I normally do in my own 22. But when I'm in my own half, you'll notice that in my own half, sometimes my kicking will probably be about maybe 70%, attack 30%, or maybe 80%, 90%, probably like 80% and above. Okay, in general, in my own 22, or sometimes 100%. It depends. It depends on how difficult the other team is. For example, if I'm playing against an easy team or a bot team, I don't need to be kicking the ball out so much, though I can do, because I can win the line out maybe easily. So I might have it down to like 40% or 30% or something like that, and pass the ball out and try and break through the other team. But normally it's up quite high. When I'm in my own half, I don't often kick that much. Sometimes I'll kick into territories, sometimes into touch, up and under. I don't like kicking up and under in my own half because I can lose the ball very easily. And then they can break through and get tries. So normally in my own half, I don't like doing up and unders. Some people do. In this terrible tactic, I do it all the time. So whatever. In their half, it's not often that I kick for touch. It's like very rare, because if I'm in their half, I want to keep onto the ball and try and get a try. So I won't kick for territory. I might do some up and unders, but it might be down like about 10%, 15%, maybe. I don't like kicking very much. When I'm in their half, I like to hold on to the ball and just go hard out, okay? And then their 22, the same thing. I've actually discovered when you're in their 22, doing up and unders can be quite good, because when you do the up and unders, I wouldn't have it at 100%. I might have it like about 15, 20% maybe, whatever, because you can kick it up. And if it goes across the try line, if your player's got very good catching and is fast and it's got awareness and God knows line out, whatever it is, they can actually grab the ball before the other player. They can catch it, and then they fall to the ground and they get a try just like that. So this is like one of the areas I would use up and under a lot more personally, is in their 22. But again, not often, not like this terrible tactic. Everything okay now, guys? Just making sure you can still hear me. If you have any questions whatsoever, just chuck them in the comments, okay? That's what we're here for, is question and answers and everything like that. Now, the next one that we need is this one here, attack plays. Now, this is, let's have a look. So the same thing. You got to choose an attack play for each one, okay? So when I'm in my own 22, I'm not attacking very much. I'm just trying to kick the ball as far as I can up the sideline. So what you do is, you got an option of balanced, or no, you can do another one. Let's go here. You click here, and you've got different options. Okay, this is on default. I didn't know that. I think this is the default tactic where it's 14% for everything. Now, what does this mean? Pick and go corner. I actually need to see show some matches to show some of the differences between the main ones are pick and go, drive, expansive, and creative. Now, what I want to do is go back to Woodward Games. There's actually that match I did scrum up and whatever it is. Okay, I'm probably getting my ass whipped here, but that doesn't matter. Waiting, acquiring feed. Okay. Oh shit! Look at that. This is an up and under. That's just what I said. I've got my youth team from memory. Yeah. You see what I did? I kicked it up and under, and it went just what I was talking about by coincidence, and it went into his try. And my wing, James Innes, he's got very good catching and everything like that. Okay, you see that I lost the scrum here. Okay, expensive is when it gets thrown out wide, okay, like that. Now, there are two types of expensive. It can be like, what do you call it? Okay, he's going to get a try here. Boom. So expensive is wide, where it goes all the way almost to the edge of the pitch. Or it's the, what's the other one? Middle, medium, whatever it is? Close. No. Oh, I can't remember. Medium. It's the other one. Where it's like in towards the middle. Now, I've got the ball here. Okay, do something. Oh, I'm going to kick it up now. Okay, damn. This isn't a good game. Okay, am I going to get it? Boom. Look at that. Another try from doing this up and under tactic. And I've got my terrible team. Okay, so sometimes it works. But that's because my number 11, he's very, very, very good at catching. He's very quick. He's very onto it and everything like that. Okay, let's see if Blitz Squad does there. And okay, we're in a mall now. What type of thing is he going to do? Is he going to go expensive? So now, from here, if he goes straight, that means it's a, this is a try, lots of tries in this game. You got the mid-expensive, that's what it was. I mean, it doesn't go all the way to the other side of the pitch. It goes like halfway and they try and break through. Okay, come on, keep going. What's he going to do? So look at this kicking. He's doing the exact same kicking. And normally when you kick from there, it will go out. Pretty much 99.9% of the time, it will go out, okay? And that's why it's like a safe thing to do. Like he's won, since I've got my bad team, he easily won the line out and like a scrum and everything like that. So, yeah. Oh, this is like a good game. It's quite close. I didn't expect to do well. So it's like there's only 3 points in it. Okay, so with the kickoff, now with the kickoff, what I normally do is I kick it as far as possible from halfway. He's just done that same tactic. It actually bounced before going out. No, it didn't go out. That is not common. Okay. Have I won it back? Yes. Here I'm just doing my up and unders, but here's not near the try line. Did I win it? We'll soon see. And I won it back? No, I didn't. Okay. So I'm trying to actually get rid of the ball, not win. Now here, this is the one where he's kicking and it's like stays in touch. Now here, okay, I've got my tactic where I just kick it back. Okay, it's not the best example. But my player won it back, but I lost it in the turnover. Okay, there's a lot of kicking in this game. I think Blitz Squad doesn't want to win either. Anyway, we'll just watch the end and see what happens. He's going to get a try from this one. My team's not very good. He's going to pass it out. Here he goes. 60 minutes. Look at that. Kick it, goal. Ooh, it's a tie. He's got to get this. Okay, so it's 21. Extra time. Okay, this is going into extra. Should I turn it off or should I? Okay, so it's 21-21. So here I am going down there. I always kick as close. Penalty scrum. Okay, I've lost the scrum because I don't have my best players. You see? So he's going to get it back and kick it away. You watch. So these are typical tactics. Just kick it away. But sometimes I've got my wing there, and he will grab it. And he'll just like run. Okay, there's another scrum. I've lost my scrum. Because these youth, they're still not good enough. Okay, kicking. He's doing the same thing. Okay. Okay, this is probably not the best example of a match to watch. He's gonna get it from here. So he's got expansive and creative. Okay, this is a good one. Creative is one I don't like using that much because you can lose the ball quite a bit, like just happened now. Because you're risking a lot. There could be good benefits out of it, but you can also very easily lose it. It's not one of my favorite things. I almost never use creative. Okay, this is going to go on forever. But they're creatives, like you're experimenting with different things. Yeah, there's come on. We don't need to watch this. Okay, let's go back to the squad. Yeah, it's like a ladder match. So going back to the scrumming up. So you noticed when I was here, 100% of the time I did up and under. I just try and get rid of the ball. But by chance, I was getting tries out of that. But that doesn't happen for every team. Because if your player doesn't have good catching or speed or agility or whatever it is, he's not, or awareness or whatever other skills you need, it's not going to work. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now this one here, this is scrumming up. I've got different games here. Sorry, names. This is called Chip Away. I think I used this before. Here it is. The reason is, okay, so I've got pick and go corner. This is where you got the ball and you just go like around the corner, the opposite of where the other people are normally waiting. You just go around the corner. That can be good. I mean, with tactics, the match engine sometimes changes over the year. Like there's some tweaking and there's some experimentation. And sometimes, for example, drive is overpowered. So everyone starts using drive all of the time. And sometimes everyone uses expansive or pick and go sometimes. But now it's quite balanced. So it just depends on what you like. Pick and go is a very safe tactic where you are likely, if your players have got good rucking and counter rucking, whatever it is, there's very likely that they're going to stay with the ball in their hands, okay? So it's quite a safe, okay, I've just got the result in. It's quite a safe way to play. Let's go have a look. Did I win or lose? I lost, unfortunately. But look, I got one of my young players increased in level, and that's what I wanted. That's the most important thing. My players are increasing, and I didn't use any cards or anything like that. I can't do another ladder match immediately because you have to wait 5 minutes before you can do another ladder match. Let's go have a look back here to the tactics. Sorry, game plans. So with this here, okay, so we're at the chip away. I call it chip away. It's probably something I left from ages ago where I had a lot of like pick and goes and drive, like just chipping away at the defense little by little by little. But now I've got, 40% creative. Okay. Now I would normally not use this tactic unless I want to get rid of the ball, because I find that with creative, does it say anything here? Usually use it a lot. Okay, pick and go. Primarily the forwards attacking near to the ruck, with minimal or no passing at all. They just grab the ball and they go, especially involving the front five, though can include the scrum half sometimes, okay? The drive, again, primarily the forwards attacking, but sometimes the backs, especially if the drive attacks further out from the ruck towards the midfield. Normally, no more than 1 or 2 passes are involved. It's like, for me, driving is, you're going crashing into the other team. It's like pass it out once or twice and just crash into the other players. Whereas the pick and go is quite safe. You're like just close to where the other ones are. So you've got other people that are going to come and help you out in the ruck and everything like that. Expansive is I love expansive. You just throw the ball out wide because normally the other team doesn't have enough players to cover you. You just need to break through one player in expansive and you can go off if you're quick. In creative, let's say what, expansive, primarily an attacking, passing the ball through the hands of the back, but can involve forwards. Yeah, I've seen forwards in the expansive, but they're like really slow and they get tackled quickly. Creative, okay. Creative, this covers a wide range of different attacks, from complicated moves, including decoy runners and miss passes, to wingers coming off the wing and coming in as an extra man, or clever kicks and chips and things like that. These types of attacks are harder to get right, but can be very effective when everything goes to plan. So you can either do very well or do terribly. It all depends on that, okay? And there are also 4 main types of attack. Around the corner, like on the fringes of the ruck, an area normally defended by the opposition's first forwards. You got the close ones where their attacks target an area to roughly where their positions fly half stands. You got the midfield. That was the other one I was looking for, midfield. Okay, so like in the middle and wide, out wide. So getting results. So all of this information you can actually read later. It's all there for you. But you need to choose an attack plan for each one. Okay, for example, when you're at your own 22, you probably don't want to be using too much expensive. Okay, for example, I should actually go check out one of my, oops, don't want to do that. Go check out one of my other ones. For example, let's go to paint drying. Okay, this expensive test. Okay, I'll go into detail. Scrumming up is like scrum 100% of the time and just kicking it up in the air the other 100% of the time. My worst tactic ever, okay, this is something I use quite a lot. I'm in my own 22 and I'll go for, the touch 100% of the time. But when I'm in my own half, there's actually a 40% chance that I'll kick it up into the territory, which I don't actually like. I should bring it down a bit more because I haven't used this in a while. I won't kick it into touch, and up and under, only 5%. So there's a 30% chance I'm going to do a 95% chance of kicking to down the field, which is, I don't really like that very much right now. I like to do attacking a lot more, okay? So I might put it down to 25. And this is the worst tactic ever. I used it tonight. 10%. So when I'm here, there's a 10% chance I'm going to use up and under. And all of the rest of the attacking is either expansive, drive, or pick and go, okay? But when I'm here, I've increased my kicking for up and unders because there's that possibility, especially against weaker teams, that I can get a try, kick it up in the air and it lands and I grab it and I can get a try. Okay, so let's go to the attack plays. For example, in my own 22, let's go see what I got. I got pick and go at 15%. I've got drive 25%, drive midfield 20%, and the other pick and go 25%. So basically my pick and go is 25 is 40%. My drive is 45%. Why do I have those in my own 22? Because I want to hold onto the ball. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to do anything risky. I would never do creative in my own 22 because there's a possibility of losing the ball and they can just get a try in no time. And expensive, I've got 15% because, I don't know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depends on the team, okay? So I try and keep it close to me to try and be as safe as possible. In my own half, it says balanced. I think it's just from default days. What have I got? Let's have a look. In my own half with this worst tactic ever, it's called that because I just like the name of it, is I've got expansive midfield. So I've got like about 30% expansive. I love my wings. They if they can get through one player, I'm pretty certain I can get a try. I just need to get through that one player normally. That's why I've got it at 30%. I've got my drive and close for 40%. That's not, interesting. So probably this tactic I used when drive was a lot stronger. So I'd use drive a lot more because it was like you could just advance quite a lot. Now it's been reduced. So I might just drop that down like a little, like down to 15. When you drop the drive down like 15, whoa, look at that. I can't remember what it was at. I'll drop it to 15 or even 10. No, I'll bring that onto 15, sorry. And I'll bring this one down to 15 too. Why did I do that in my mind? How is my mind working then? Because I think if I drive close, it's probably safer. If I drive close, because there's backup that's going to arrive quickly. If I drive midfield, I could probably break through a lot easier, but I don't have many people in support sometimes. That was my mentality. But doing expensive here in my own half, it could work. It's risky. I believe in my players. And down here, I got 30% of pick and go. 15-15. At the moment, I'm not too much a fan of pick and go because it's like you don't advance much at all. There are times when you did advance a lot more, but at the moment it's like, yeah. But I'm just going to leave it like that just to be safe. So being safe for me are these ones. I'm at 60% safe in my own half. But let's see what I'm doing in their half. Let's stretch the defense. It sounds like an expensive tactic. And it's not because, okay, so this is from the days where driving was stronger than, what do you call it? Then it was like a bit stronger than all the other skills and people would advance quite a bit. So what I want to do in their half, I probably want to drop this close down now to maybe like 20%, but that would increase to 40. And I don't want that either. So what I want to do is probably go expensive wide, increase that to maybe 30. And I want to increase this one here to, that's like 40% for expansive. But I don't want that much drive there. Maybe I could even take it up like to 50% expansive, okay? Which is quite a lot. And here I've got 40% drive. And I don't have much pick and go because, as I said before, you're playing it safe, but sometimes it doesn't always work. They can still get the ball back. But I just feel that you don't advance as much as you should or could do, okay? And then what have I done here in their 22? Stretch the defense. Here I'm doing a lot more expansive. I've got 40%, 30%. That's quite good because drive, especially if you've got another person behind, he drives a bit and then you got another one behind. It helps push you forward just that bit more. And that is good. It helps you go over the line sometimes. Pick and go again, it's like, yeah, I'll leave it like that. So this is what my worst tactic ever is. I mean, it's the name of it. It's not because it's terrible. It's because I actually use it. So personally, I love expensive, but it depends on how the match engine is or any changes that they do. Drive is also good up here because you just go forward, especially if you've got another player behind you. And the next part here is the, what do you call it? The Ruck Commitment. What does this say? It says Ruck Commitment. You got two versions. You notice I've got it high and absolutely everything. I don't do things half-assed. I just go full out defending or full out attacking the ruck. So what happens here? Oh God, a lot of text. You can read the text here. A high ruck commitment is useful when you think your forwards might be outclassed in the ruck. So adding bodies there. Oh, I should actually read this. This is quite good. So adding bodies there will increase the chances of winning or slowing down opposition ball or even stealing it. Okay. I always have it as high. So you're defending your possession, or when you're attacking the ruck, but at the same time, there could be penalties. The higher this is, the higher the penalties, especially if you have players that are very aggressive or psychotic. Okay, they can sometimes lose the ball too. So yeah, we also got these different defenses here. Now, defenses, you got three types of defense. You got man on man, you've got drift, and you have rush. What's the difference between these? I recommend clicking on this. I use a lot of rush. So drift is when the defensive line shifts as the ball moves out on the wing. You're trying to push the ball out to the wing a bit more. The problem is if you do that and their wing is very good, they can break through. For attacks that target the midfield and wider, including creative attacks, drift has the defenders follow each attacker, okay? But a lot of this information you can find there. So basically, drift means they've got the ball, you just following the player, just making them try and go towards the sideline, because you're using the sideline as an extra player in a way. They want to go close to that sideline, so they're going to stay in that position. They're mostly wait for the attacker to come to them instead of advancing to meet them. And I don't like waiting. I like going up to meet them so they have less chance. So when the ball goes wide, it makes more meters. Okay, but there's no chance of a cutout pass. So then you've got, hey, Big Shadow, how's it going? No worries, just going through some of the tactics. You can always watch the the replay later. Ignore the first 3 or 4 minutes. My microphone was on mute. Anyway, so then you got the rush. The defensive line presses up quickly to limit the amount of time the opposition has from the ball. And that's what I like using. It's like, I want my players to rush up to them. The only downside of that is, well, positive side, if you rush up to the player or to the line, they can pass it off. Yeah, which is all right. But you've got another player going up to the other, your defending player going up to the attacking player. But with rushes, the problem is if they break through that one player, they can just go straight through to the try line, except for, well, have to get past your fullback first. I like using rush because it also puts pressure on the other team and they don't advance as much, okay? And man on man is each player in the defensive line is responsible for guarding one opposing player. Okay, so this is like a middle. Man on man is a mix between rush, like charging up to try and stop them from advancing, or drift, which is like you're just waiting for them to come and it goes to the sideline. So if you're not too sure which to do, sometimes man on man is the safest option. It's like a bit of both. Personally, for me, I love rush because it just puts pressure on and it just, more possibilities of getting the ball or getting the ball back. Because when you rush up to that player is by himself. And when the player is by himself, you're trying to get the ball off him. If you've got high rucking or whatever, there's a possibility of a turnover. You can get it back, especially if you have other players around you. So so all of these question marks, go here for more information about them. I like rush. That's just my personal thing. Yeah. We also have penalties. What can you do for penalties? In each one, basically for penalties, when I'm in my own 22, I always 100% kick for touch. I'm just like, as far as possible, I get a line out and boom, I'm quite likely to win a line out. If I'm in here, if I do a scrum here, I can usually win my scrums. Tap, I would not do. Tap is like your player kicks the ball and he runs to the other players. The problem is when you tap the ball, you're probably running into like 2 or 3 players by yourself. There's a possibility you get the ball taken off you, unless you've got some other teammates accompanying you. It's not too often. I don't use tap much at all. When I'm in my own half, basically, in my own 22 and my own half, I pretty much always, with my penalties, I kick for touch. Just get as close to their try line as possible. My general tactic is get out of my own half. Get in their half. And when you're in their half, just try and stop them from advancing. I mean, this sort of sounds obvious, but this is how you do it, kicking for touch. When I'm in their half, at the moment it says kick for goal 30%. I would actually drop that down to say not even 10%. Usually I know that I'm going to do well. I'm going to do that like maybe 5%, just a possibility. I don't know why. No, there. From here, I'd probably go kick for touch if I'm good at lineouts, but I'm also good at scrums. Okay, so either of those. Kicking for touch, you get close to their try line, and you're doing the line out. Now, if you do the line out, sometimes if you throw it way down the back, you can get the ball and just go over the line quite easily. But sometimes doesn't work, and then they get the ball and they run all the way up the pitch and get a try against you. But I'll just do that. Maybe like 5%. No, I don't like kicking from here. I don't like kicking for goal very much now. Sometimes I do. If I'm against a good team, if I'm against a very good team also, it's not often I like to kick the goal. Because if I get 3 points, yeah, I get 3 points against them. But at half time, they're going to kick the ball down into my 22. And if I don't catch the ball, they have possession of my 22. And there's also a possibility they will get a try, 5 points, maybe 7 points. So do I want my 3 points, or do I want to try and get a try? I want to try and get a try every single time. So yeah, let's put that as 0. Now that I'm in their 22, kick for goal, I want to bring that down. I don't want to kick for goal. I want to bring it down to maybe 10%, maybe. And kick for touch, you could do that. I just put up my scrum because I know my scrum is quite powerful, especially if I put the ball, if I'm putting the ball in, I know my scrum is very powerful and it's very difficult to beat me unless you are playing against my youth team, as you saw in that match just a moment ago. Hey, Big Shadow, have you got any questions about anything? Just chuck them in the chat about tactics and things like this. This is for anyone that's watching, even the lurkers. I can see you down the back there. If you have any questions, chuck them in the chat because I can do this and show them up on screen. Okay? Howdy, sorry I'm late. No worries, mate. Okay. So I'll probably use scrum a lot more, kick for goal. Yes, that's just me. Because I know my team. Maybe when you're starting out, if you've got a good scrum, you can do this because a lot of other players, they might not know all of these things. Now, the next one of the tactics is, let's go to my own 22, is the line out. Again, if you want more information about the line out, you got the drop, a very short throw to the very front, and whoever's there catches it. It could be a surprise, but the defense is also, but it's risky. You need your prop with good catching and coordination, okay? You could lose it forward or it could get lost. But many times their front row of the other team doesn't have much coordination or catching because a lot of people, for some reason, they only make their locks excellent in line-out jumping and catching and all of those other things that they need. But no, make sure your props also have line-out jumping. Okay? I mean, your hooker doesn't really need it, but you just never seen it. Oh, that's a great question. That one here. Without seeing what's done so far, I do also have questions about which play is best for different weather conditions. That's a great question. I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so we'll just finish off this one here. So with the lineouts, so here I know my front row, my number 1, 2, 3, they're quite good at lineouts. So I got no problem doing drops or shorts or anything like that at all because I know they're not going to often lose it. In my own 22, I do not want to overthrow because there is a possibility the other team can get it too and just, it's risky. Good reward or good whatever. Or you could just lose it like in a terrible way. Oh, another great question from James. I'll come to that one in a second. Any tips for new managers starting out, what to focus on to progress? Oh, yeah, lots of tips. And with the line out, as you'll see, here it's more balanced. Not so much overthrow because I'm still in my own half. Here in their half, got the drop and everything. This is like quite a boring one. If we go to my, what's another one I use? For example, I don't know, final. Let's go see what happened here. Down here, lineup. Okay, it's pretty much the same. Overthrow, long, medium, short, and drop. Okay, so you can see I sort of keep it balanced. It doesn't really matter. I mean, sometimes I have a bit more overthrow because, try and steal a ball, get a try. Okay, so if we go back to, oh shit, I've gone and lost it now. So let's go to my worst tactic ever, which was my default tactic for, if you look at any of my old streams, I'd almost always use worst tactic ever. And it changes all the time. Okay, and going over here, general kickoff. You can kick away from forwards, or why do I want medium? I don't like doing medium. I always try. I always, he says, and he's got 10% in short, medium. I pretty much always go long, as far, as deep into their area as possible. Okay. And with the kickoff, the first of the, do you want to kick deep or short? Do you want to kick towards your forwards, which is the standard kickoff, or away from them? Okay. But normally I kick long and I kick away from the forwards. I'm kicking basically to their backs, because sometimes their backs don't have good catching, and I can get the ball very quickly. But if I kick to the forwards, there might be a lock there. It's going to jump up and get the ball easily. And then when they get the ball, since they're very strong, they've got strength and everything like that, they're going to hold on to the ball a lot better. That is why I normally, with my kickoffs, I kick away from the forwards and long. I want to get it as far away from my goal as possible. If I go here, reception, honestly, balance, I don't know why. I haven't really paid, honestly, much attention to this. I should read it. Okay, the tactical option determines how you want to set your team to receive a kickoff. Okay, it can be standard or balanced. Basically, standard is the majority of your forwards on one side of the field facing the opposition, or balanced is you got your forwards spread out. Okay, so I'm just like, I should be balanced. I'll just leave it at this, or even just balanced. I don't know. I don't pay much attention to this. I don't think it's really influenced much of anything I do. The drop goal. Normally I keep this either 0, none, or if I've got some type of ladder challenge. If I've got a ladder challenge, I'll chuck it right up here just to get those drop goals. But in general, it's going to be low, but I prefer not to do drop goals. I prefer to do up and unders and try and get a try. I mean, you get more points out of that. And the other thing is going for bonus points at all costs. You notice, in general, I don't have any of these clicked on. I just want the match to end. Go for bonus points at all costs. Like maybe at the end of the season, you need the bonus point, go for it. But in general, I don't. If losing, go for the losing bonus points. You might want that because of the end result. At the beginning of the season, I don't worry. At the end of the season, you might be interested, but I wouldn't worry. Prevent any opposition bonus points at all. I remember having all of these clicked at one stage, but now I just leave it blank. Okay? So, coming back to this brilliant question here, without seeing what's done before, I do always have questions, which play is best for different weather conditions? Okay, so for example, with the weather conditions, how can you find out where these weather conditions are? If I click go to the fixtures, and here, this was calm, heavy overcast. You can see them here. This is rain and windy. Okay. Now, with windy, basically, you have to be careful with kicking, which means your kicking is going to be difficult, both for kicking for goals, for conversions, and for up and unders. It can go anywhere. You try and kick for touch, it might not go into touch, it might go far, it might go shorter. But honestly, it is very rare that I will play a windy card in my tactics, okay? Almost never play a windy card unless I've got excessive amounts of energy, I'm bored, and I'm like, I'll just put it in there because I'm playing against a low-level team. With rain, whenever there's rain, I didn't do it in this match. For example, let's see what I used here. Okay, I used all of these cards. Okay, so I've got a chance of maul. I think maul, increasing the chance of maul and turnover. I think maul's, this is a brilliant card. I've got a free epic card as my daily match tactic, whatever it is. Okay, I would use that. Composure, I don't use this very much, but since I had a level 5 one, I was like, I'll just chuck that in here. Sweet. I love, this is my favorite card, or my second favorite card, increases endurance. Okay, why does endurance matter? Because if you have two teams, one player has 100%, another player has 100% in, I don't know, speed, for example. He's very fast. They're both very fast, 100 in speed. Over time, that drops to 95, 90, 90, 80. Just over the course of the match, it slowly drops, okay? So they become less quick, you could say. But with endurance, it means they last longer. So your player stays at 100 more than the other one, okay? So instead of having your endurance at, your endurance is 80, it's going to be extra 20%, so it's going to be 96. Instead of having an endurance of 80 points, or whatever it is, levels, what do you call them? God, I can't even remember. It's now 96. And that's a huge difference. And also, it means you last longer in the pitch. And there have been many games I have won in the last 20 minutes or last half. At the beginning, very difficult, very hard, very strong teams. But then, as the game progresses, woohoo, I just come flying in because my guys still have a lot more energy, a lot of endurance. They last longer, which means their skills are still at a good level by the end of the match, because it all decreases during a match. So I love this card. My favorite card is Expansive, Epic. Oh, okay. But, excuse me. Okay, so we've got, so windy I'd never worry about, but this is a rain one. When sometimes I will play a rain card if I am in a semi-final or a final or sometimes an important match. Sometimes I will play an epic rain card, which is like 100%, there's no rain whatsoever. I will do that because when it's raining, the ball is slippery. There's more chances of dropping the ball, dropping it forward, or doing things like that. Now, you imagine when you're playing in the rain, you're passing the ball out wide. What's the problem with that? It's raining. It's like you get the ball. It's like, whoa, it's going to slip out of your hand. So I think like going expansive when it's raining is sometimes not as good. Okay. But at the same time, maybe the other team thinks the same thing. So they're not going to prepare for that, like a defensive, expansive card, whatever it is. Okay. You can just go expansive, especially if you have one of those rain or lowering the percentage of the rain. Okay. But normally when it's raining, I don't change my tactic very much. You can play to be safe. You can do more pick and go and drive. Those are always safe because you don't pass. You don't want to pass very much. Pick and go is very safe. You're not going to drop the ball very much. Okay. So I would play a forward-orientated team in wet weather to be a down, low, and dirty running. Exactly. So that's what you can do, is like you can have your forwards involved more. But I like, since I know my backs are quite good, I have no problem using my backs in rainy weather because their catching is high, their passing is high, no problem. So they're not likely to drop the ball, especially like in a semi or a final. I play a rain card and I know there's going to be no problem with the rain. Go expansive. And the other team sometimes does not expect it. But if you're starting out in the game and it's raining, it's probably not the best to go expansive very much because you will drop the ball. Something that you can do is maybe do some more up and unders in the opposition half. Do up and unders in the opposition half, and then they will drop the ball or kick it to them and they could drop the ball. Okay. And then you will get the scrum, you will get the line out or whatever it is that's going on. So yeah. So when you're first starting out, I would probably use, more forwards or something like that, unless your backs are have quite a good level. So now I've got the skills up. It's not as much of an issue now. Cool. Yeah. I mean, personally, I've never worried that much about the rain because I just assume that my players are going to do well. But yeah, it does influence. Is there? Oh, hang on. Let's look at this. It actually says something about rain. Rain actually changes from 6 a.m. to between blah 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 blah. No, that's an overview. Base weather, wind. In addition, there's a wind factor that is added to the current weather. There are 3 possibilities: calms. Wind impacts various aspects of play, especially kicking. The stronger the wind, the less accurate the kicking will be. But what does it say about it doesn't say anything about the rain here. Heavy rain, storm, like you've got like rain, not really worried. Heavy rain and storm. Storm, I would use a card just to make sure there doesn't slip out. But again, semifinals or finals. In league matches, if you've got like your team's not very good, use your forwards more because they don't pass as much, okay? Or up and unders because they can drop the ball. You get a scrum from the other team. That's another good way. So also, we've got another great question here from James. Any tips for new managers starting out? What to focus on to progress? Okay, so for example, I'm just going to go quickly do another. I always do ladder challenges constantly. When I'm in the game, I just do ladder challenges. Yeah, train your youth. This is one tip. Focus on creating like a laboratory, like Frankenstein, your own youth. Okay, I just want to go here. Well, I've only got 2 options. Okay, let's just go to Templar Knights. I'm just going to quickly do this. Let's go to Templar Knights. I'll just use my youth because remember, I want to increase your experience, and experience is important. And I want to go scrumming up. I don't care about losing the match. I'm trying to actually get lower in the ladder, but it sometimes doesn't happen. And I just want to do one for my other team too. Actually, that one, how did I do there? Don't win. Phew, good. Some teams, they do take it serious. That's all right. And I get my ass whipping. But sometimes the matches are close or I win. I'm like, oh, use the ladder. One, you can experiment with tactics. Also, it's a great place to experiment with tactics. 1 second. Get here, mid pack. And again, I'm interested in training my youth. I don't care about the results. Results are irrelevant. What's important is the players get minutes of time. For example, if you look at one of my players, he's old. He's 22. Okay, I've got my prop here. He's my hooker, actually. I know because I've got him in that position. He's actually like a level 67 hooker, whatever. He's only 22 years old. He is hardened. And as we saw before, experience helps increase the level of their skills. So if we go to the stats, sorry, not history, stats, he's been in 488 games or matches. Pretty much all of these, except for like 30 or so, I think, are ladder matches. He's played 41,000 minutes, and this is what's important, the minutes played, okay? Because you want his experience to go up. But for me, like starting out here, I would go, do you gain more experience challenging high-level teams? No, you just gain experience playing matches. It doesn't matter if they're terrible teams. From what I understand, maybe in the match engine there could be something else, but normally it does not matter at all. Oh, sorry, go this one here. Answering your question, do you gain more experience challenging high-level teams? From what I understand, no. It's the same level experience for each team because your tactics tell, do this, do that, so they're going to learn that way of playing. Doesn't matter if they're against a good team or a lower-level team. I could be wrong. But for me, I've never seen anything that says otherwise. Okay. So yeah, play against low, just ladder, use the ladder. You'll increase in the ladder and ladder and ladder, and then you'll be playing against high level teams, and you'll gain experience yourself as a manager, not your players, because you'll see, ooh, I got my ass whooped today. Why? Or, whoa, I won that. Why? Ask yourself, why? How did you win that? What did the other person do? Did the other team use a youth team? Instead, I just spat everywhere. Did the other team use a youth team instead of their first 15, as many clubs do? Or what worked? What didn't work? If I discover my center, my number 12, keeps getting pushed back instead of going forward, I need to increase its power or something like that. Just use the ladder also to push yourself too, just to learn from those things. So from what I know, it doesn't matter if you play high level league teams or low level teams. In this game, I haven't read anything or heard anything about that at all. So yeah, I wouldn't really worry about that. But going back, for new managers starting out, the first season, I would not worry so much about your results. It's good to come first, and it's highly likely you will become first position, okay, in first place, because like you'll be with some other teams, and there might be 2 or 3 other active teams, like really active. And then, yeah, that'll make it good because it makes it more interesting. You might be against some bot teams at the beginning. Put your youth players in the bot team. Okay, what I would focus on to begin with, most importantly, is increasing your training facility as quickly as possible, and your academy. At the beginning, I wouldn't buy players on the market to begin with. Okay, you can go to the market. Am I selling anyone? Yeah, I'm selling players. But I wouldn't. You can't. If you've got a lower team, you can't buy my players. Like I'm level 30, this team, but you can only buy players from like a certain level above you. It's to avoid me making shitloads of money from newer teams. Okay, but someone will want those at our level. Okay, got like level 32 hooker, level 33 hooker, and he's like level 19. Anyway, so I wouldn't bother buying players. Like if you're going to spend, okay, let's look at this one here. He's level 16. Okay, he's only a level 16. He's 19 years old, and he's 16. I wouldn't buy him because he's like 46,000. Use that 46,000, save it. Don't buy this not very good player. He might be level 16, but that's nothing. You get simple ones for that. Save this $46,000 and invest it in upgrading your facilities, your priority. Don't buy players at the beginning because your games are going to be fairly easy anyway, except for the cup, where you're going to get smashed by some really high level, and I wouldn't worry about that. But your league matches, everyone's team is shit. Basically, everyone's team is not good. So you don't really have to worry. Just fine-tune your training and everything like that, and you'll discover very quickly with training, your players are going to get good. So don't spend money to begin with on the market. Later, yes. Like maybe when your club gets up to level 4 or 5, you might, if you have a gap or you're missing a player, yeah. But at the beginning, don't worry, because you're gonna not win all the time, but it's going to be easier. So don't waste money on the market in the first season or first 2 seasons. Maybe use all of the money you get to invest in my priority, upgrading your facilities. Start off with the training facilities and your let me have a look at this one here. Oops, shit, what did I just do? What am I doing? Okay, let's get out of here. Swap. Okay, let's go to the medical. Here it is. Just double checking here. No, it's not that. So, and the academy. Try and get your academy up as much as possible to scouting assignments. Unlock scouting assignment 2. Something changed here. Hang on 1 second. Oh, no, it's all right. Yeah, try and get your academy up so that you can get better players. Investing your money, for example, wrong button. For example, what I do is the money that I have, I prefer to invest it in. Oh, I actually got to check this one out. And do I want this one? Probably not. Yeah, you're out of there. Scout again. Nah, not good. I got loads of tokens, so I can do this. But I would save your. Sometimes I just choose players because their name. It's not very professional, but Richard Speed. That sounds cool, but no, he's not a good one. Okay, I'll just do it another time. Okay, I'll just wait until tomorrow. But you see, look at all of these academy stars. I got 9,000. So if I want, I could get like a really high level player, because you can get players that are quite good compared to the what do you call it? The trade market. I was going to say stock market, the trade market. Okay. So, and I always invest as much as I can. Like I've got this always on 150,000 every single day. That's why I got loads of stars. Okay. So invest in, I wouldn't buy a level 1, level 2 player in your academy. Wait until you've saved some stars to go for a level 3. From your academy, I would go for a level 3. Let me see if over here I can show you. View new prospect. Do I want him? Maximum. Oh, yeah, I'm going to begin development with him. I chose him because Maximo Monje. Monje is monk in Spanish, and Maximo is maximum. Maximum month. I'm going to choose him because of his name. He's also got good centimeter. He's got good centimeters. That sounded terrible. He's got a good height. And kilos too, and he's 140 at that level, which is brilliant. So I'm going to begin development with him. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so once you begin development, you can increase these as much as you like. Okay, wow, I could do that. I've never done that. Wouldn't want to do it. You don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Now, when you scout, this is what I'm looking for. So you can spend 15 stars, which is like 15,000, on a level 1 player. I wouldn't do that. Save up for 100,000. Okay, instead of wasting, like he wasted, 50,000 on a player, you can buy one here and you can get an okay player. You probably get a player a little better than one on the market at the moment. So save your money up, but don't do a level 1 or level 2. Save that temptation and wait till you get to a level 3 one. Okay, and then boom. Then 2 weeks later, if you can, boom, another one. Okay, so just whenever you can, go level 3s. And then with those players that you like, I would wait until it's, for example, I would only, like I just did now, this player here, he was 140. Oh, there he is. Which means, because he was a level 8 player. So with a level 8 player, I've got maximum 140 points I can spend on speed and acceleration and agility. Whereas here, as a level 3 player, instead of 74 points, I've got 86 points. And with 86 points, it's a lot better spending that money than 62 or 74. So I try and have the maximum. I might go 84, 85, 86. 83 or lower, I wouldn't choose a player like that. Like I haven't scouted someone. But I would do that. So save your money instead of the trade market or the player market, whatever it is. Save it for your academy so you can get players and you can increase them. Like I want my center to have more power and speed, okay? And then I try and increase everything like this, okay? Just imagining that I have, how many was it? 86. I'm only going to spend 86. So I probably want to increase this to 10, increase them all to 10, minimum 10. And then I want him to have more speed, and then maybe some acceleration. And then I increase these a bit more. I want him a bit more agility because he's my center. Okay. So then I'll just do these types of adjustments, and I want him to have more power. And then I'm just about I want him to go through. So I'd spin it like this. So that way you're developing players that are what you need. Whereas on the trade market, it's like what there is, and you have to accept it or not. So that's why I would start investing as soon as possible. I mean, start with even 10,000 a day or something like that, but try and get all of your buildings up to scratch. Like I've got these cards now. What have I got? Anything interesting for me? Nah. So I'm not going to even bother. You don't need to play every day in the academy. It's not essential. So as a priority, focusing for progressing, focus on your youth. And this is going to make a difference in the long term. Even short term, when you're first starting out in the short term, I can pull a player that's like going to replace the players that I started with within 3 or 4 seasons, or not 3 or 4 weeks, okay, which is like a season or so. You'll notice that. But get them playing as much as possible. So focus on not short-term results. What else is there? So here it says, so now I've got the skills up. It's not as much of an issue now. With the weather, yeah, if you've got good skills, usually not too much of a problem. Do you gain more experience challenging higher team levels? As I mentioned before, not that I know of. So it sounds like it's wise to play up the ladder one by one than jumping levels. Exactly. That is so true. What you need to do is, for example, Woodward Saints, did I played a game already or not? Have I got a fixture? Oh, yeah, I have. I just go up the ladder. Oh, this is live. Let's go check it out. Let's see what's happening. Bath Spartacus is a hard team, so I'm probably going to get a bit of a whipping here. Unless they've got their youth team there too, which is, let's have a look. Okay, I'm not doing too bad. That's half time. No, so we've got this boring 30 seconds. Let's get out of there. So what I will do with the ladder, leave match, is I just go one by one. For example, if I'm starting out, where is it? Oh, it's down here. Just go one by one. I've done Otago. I've got no challenge there. I've done Lathos. I've done Spartacus. Or now, and whatever happens with Spartacus, if I win or lose, I'm going to challenge Wolves. And then I'm going to challenge the next one. Because that way I got 1, 2, 3 teams of practice. That's like 240 minutes of gameplay. Of game for the players, sorry. Okay. And if I want, like for example with Woodward Games, I can't play my own team. So that's one game less. And when you're up higher, there's less teams you can play against. That's why sometimes we try and drop down the levels as much as possible. And that's why I play my youth team. For 2 reasons. So I have more people I can challenge. And at the same time, it's just like, yeah, just more people you can challenge in the end. And I'm getting my youth, what do you call it? Getting more skills and whatever it is, everything like that. So let's have a look. Yeah, so that was a very quick overview. Why does it keep spinning like that? Oh, whatever. Let's get out of there. So if we go to, there's a live match, not interested. So if we go to squad, make sure that the health's okay. So we've seen with the lineups, like here I've got my captain and my kicker is Lavin, Matthias Lavin. Okay. He's my star player. And for me, with the star players, I think I can have 7 star players or something like that from memory. When you start out with, I think for me, the most important star players are your number 10, sometimes a lock. I like having a lock that's a star player. Hooker, not immediately. I'd go for like my star player. My first one was always a lock with my teams, just to have a powerful scrum. And then I'd have my number 10. Here, I actually do need a center that's more of a star player. At the moment, I've got a wing and my fullback, which is fine. But yeah, I prefer to also have a star center in general. But that's just the way things have come out of the game. So yeah, definitely choose the players here, like your first 15, make sure in the right positions, everything like that. But with a game plan, experiment. It is very easy. Give me the name of one of their teams. Give me the name of their team, and I'll see if I can find it. And I'll do a friendly match. And I'll need to change my default. So someone put their team in the chat, and I'll see if I can find it. And I'll do a friendly match with one of my tactics and with my youth team, which is my young team. But that's the priority. Get your youth up, because they make so much of a difference. Shadow's World. Let's go have a look. How the hell do I... Here it is, Banana Boy Shadow World. Let's go to instant matchmaking. I can only do... Okay, from here... How am I going to do that? Well, I've just realized I can only choose up to this level. Can't find... Oh, I've got a fixture here. That's probably why too. 1 second. How about Woodward Games? It's going to take me a while probably to find it. Cups. Is it in the cups? No, not in the unions at all. Not going to Banana Boys in our union. Shadowville. Okay, let me see if we've got something here. Show offline. Probably down here somewhere. No, not in here at all. Because I can usually let's go to, I don't know, if I can click on here, I can do a friendly immediately. Oh, which union are you in a union? If you're in a union, it's easier to find. Otherwise, I've got to try and find club. Is there a way to find it? Nope. It's like in competitions. There was a way of finding it. We had a way where we could find a team and do a challenge. This is like 2 years ago, and we did some behind the scenes thing where you can put the like in the debug area, we did something. But that one. Duh. Where is it? Show offline. I was looking over here. Duh. Why can't I? Duh. There it is. Okay, which team would you like? Would you like the Shadowville? Which one do you prefer more? Shadowville or... Oh, shit, where is it? I'm gonna lost them again. I can't find them. Where is it? I've gone and lost them. Yeah, let me know which team you want me to play. I've gone and lost the bloody thing. Hang on, let me go out and go back in again. I just had it a moment ago. There it is. Okay, sometimes there's something. Okay, so I'm going to go for, Città d'Ombra. Shadowville, you want me to do Shadowville? Okay. So, and I was going to make sure my tactic is something I'll change my default tactic just to make sure it's not a terrible one. Game plan. What's my default? Oh, got Highlander. Okay, we'll use that one. Perfect. Unions. That's why I couldn't find it, because it was up here. Duh. And Shadowville. So if I go here in a friendly, oh, where can I do an instant match? If I do an instant friendly, okay. So what is today? Today is day 20, and home. Let's go to guest. Doesn't matter. What time is it? 11:15. Can I challenge? Is that like now? 11:15. Let's see if I can do it quickly. Probably won't. I've already got a. It said there's already a match in place or something like that. A challenge already exists. Cannot send another one. Let's go have a look. So if we go to challenge, there is a way to do it. I know. I know how to do it. I haven't done one of these challenges in ages. So friendly, here it is. So you need to go to your team and click accept or whatever it is. Okay. But there was another way to do an instant friendly, and I can't remember where it is. No. Is it this? Look at that. Shadowville right at the top. 18 out of 18. Nice. It's good. You can actually check out other teams like this. So let's go have a look at your team. So how do I see? I can only see it like this. Okay. So because it's got no numbers, I can't see the numbers. So you got some, let's go here. You got your hookers, 40s. I'm just going to quickly scroll through here. A lot of them are like level 40s, everything like that. Have you been pulling any players? Oh, your star ones, a fly half. John Chicken, what a brilliant name. I love that name. I love it. Oh, God. Dude, please. So in general, your players like level 40-ish. Okay, let's go. Chuck the mata. Okay. So going down here, something I like for all of my especially my props is pump them up as much as you can with their weight. If you have the possibility, click that icon and you can increase them. I'll show you. Oh shit, what did I click out? I can go to my squad. I think I'm already got everyone increasing their level. The maximum is 140. Look at mine, 136, 140, 140, 132, 138. This will help you win scrums, okay? Having these heavy players. They might be slower in the pitch, but if I go down here, you see you got these little pencil icon. I'm increasing the level of this player and this one, of 3 of them. I can increase it here. It's free. You just do that. But I can't do it because I've already maxed out the number I can do. Oh, no, I can. Sweet. Okay. So, and it's going to take some time to do, but try and increase the weight of your players, especially your scrum, your number 1 to number 8. So going back to Shadowville, I want to go back to your team. I'm trying to think of a way that you did an instant friendly. It's up here in the friendly thing. That's where you do it. But here you have to ask for them. Okay. So let's go to Shadow, go to is it this one here? Have a look at this. So we've got, these are your players. Yeah. 180, hookers, flankers. With my flankers, 191's still good. Strangely, I try and get them up as close to 200 as possible. Like for me, that's perfect. Like 198, sweet. Okay. Another one, 193, 186. The only players that I have that are under 190 are my props in general. I mean, still, it'll be fine, totally fine. But these are just little tips and things that I pay attention to, like for the tactics and things like that. And sometimes I like my number 8 to be tall like this too. I mean, he could be your lock, totally. But he could be your lock or your number 8. No problem. He's 23 years old. He's got limited experience. I would try and get as much. He's green. He's 24. So he probably you wouldn't want this person on your team because he's not going to do very well when hasn't got much experience. He's had 28 matches. So definitely try and get your players into more games via the ladder match, one by one. Don't try and go all the way up the top. One by one, go up, give them experience. Whenever you jump into Blackout Rugby, instantly, the first thing you do, send a ladder match. And then while you're collecting all of your cards and everything like that, and then you can, when your game's finished, send another one. So while you're doing all your daily things, you can do that here. So you got 197. These are good ones. 199. So your scrum half. This is something that I've been thinking about later. I don't want any more of my players to be short, like the scrum half or any of them. I prefer to try and get them at 190 or above. One, they got longer legs. They can run faster in my mind. But two, you can give them more weight, and when they're heavier, they can go into battles a lot, crunch into players a lot easier, and also they can jump up higher. Also, they can jump up higher to get the ball and everything. So definitely try and get starting with your. He's right. With your youth. Try and get them as much as possible, as high as possible, quickly as possible. Okay, regular and experienced, everything like that. Yeah, so at the moment, you don't have... Is that like a youth one here, maybe? I don't know whether he came from your academy or probably did. But yeah, just try and get your youth into your team. To replace, for example, I would replace this one as soon as possible because he's 27 years old and he's green. And if he's green, he means he hasn't had many games, 29 games, which is nothing. So I would get a youth in there and start training as quickly as possible to replace him, okay? By having him train in ladder matches and everything like that. And then he's just going to get up to this level here, but he's going to have a lot more experience, and that's what you want. Also, he's 27. There's still a lot of gaps here in the levels. There are a lot of gaps here. Like the black is like the maximum. Try and increase those with your training academy. Totally do that. And what else we got? Oh, we're getting there, just about there. Yay, just need one more match or a couple of matches. Yeah, so I would definitely do that. I'm going to have a look at the other one out of curiosity. Your other team is down here. This is the Italians, 21. Yeah, try and get them playing as like green experience and experienced. Try and get them playing as many, not just the league matches, because that's only like, was it 22 games and 22 matches in 1 month, which is nothing. I can do 22 games in like 3 days, 4 days. No, probably like 4 or 5 days. So you can either do it in 28 days or 4 or 5 days. Then I can be up to like 5 times the level in short amount of time. Okay, limited. So definitely do that. Let's see if there's any really interesting ones. Which one's your star one? Looking for your star player. I didn't see that. Oh, here, I saw it. Here it is. Here's your star one. Here's your lock. Cool. 200, 121. He's quite good. Got 62 power. He's regular, which is also good. Got good strength. He's doing well in these things here. Just so you know, for example, with your forwards, when possible, try and vary them with some of the back things. For example, definitely increase the awareness and catching. Because I discovered like a number of months ago, catching is something that the locks need. Because when you're catching the ball in the line out. So that's something that you need. Kicking, they don't need. Passing, they do need some passing just in case, like to receive the ball sometimes. But catching, line breaking is going to help your locks to break through the line. Awareness will help them be aware of where the line out ball is coming. There it is, boom, I'm going to catch it. So awareness is also useful for locks, and it's just knowing who's coming at you. So pay attention. I mean, the only skill I wouldn't really pay attention to is kicking. I have seen my lock kick once. I'm like, what? But it's like once in like about 2 years. But yeah, kicking, don't worry about. But the other ones, try and do them. If you get an epic card, which is line out breaking, train them all in line out breaking with that epic card. And some other cards associated, like, I don't know, awareness and whatever, passing maybe. Because they all need them. But try and give the epic to them all. If it's a scrum one, your backs don't need scrum, so just leave it to the locks or to the front pack and everything like that. Okay? Right, I think, yeah, so those are the some of the basic tactics and everything like that. What I want to do is, let's go down to here. So yeah, so pay attention to the positions of the players, and also just experiment, especially in the ladder. What I want to do, where is it? Squad, this one here. Eventually, I have to make time to do this. I'll be uploading like short little videos, like 1 or 2, 3 minutes each, going over the different parts of, for example, the game plans and what each part does. Because like what I did tonight was very general and everything like that. But what I would do is I'll like talk about kicking and the difference between these. I'm going to talk about the different attack patterns and what the different things mean. So I'll do individual videos about each of these things. Okay, they're going to be short, like a minute or two, just quick things. So like, oh, what was that? So you can go there and check it out. And also about lineup and other things. Okay. So is there any other questions that you have? I hope to help maybe a little. I hope so. I hope so. Oh, okay, I lost this ladder match. What a pity. Any other questions? Well, I just collect some of these things. I hope you learned something tonight. Can I do any, like for example here, I'm in my ladder match. If I can only do one more challenge today, and that's the problem when you get up the top. If you're in the top 3 or 4, you can do anyone in the top 10. But once you're at like this position, you can't choose many. That's why I like to try and drop down so I've got more people I can challenge. But I'm going to challenge old Santo Chao anyway. Let's go. What do we got? Youth and scrumming up. That's all I want. It's been great. Certainly learn stuff seeing I come from the dark side. What, Australia? Oh, Aussie rules. We've got Steve. Isn't Steve an Aussie? He's in Florida. He's got flying koalas, so he must have something to do with Australia. I always wind him up. Yeah, so thank you. That was helpful. I'm glad. I hope you learned something today. I plan to do a lot more like mini tutorials about certain things. I've actually made a list. I just need to make the time to create them. And just like little short things every now and then. And also, if you have any questions at all, 1, leave them in the union, or 2, leave them in the Discord. Depends, because not everyone's in the union. Was it the unicorn hookers? Okay, so just leave them in the union or in the Discord, and I can talk about these in another episode. So I might do this every couple of weeks or so. Depends on how many questions there are. But at the moment, I want to do some priorities of trying to do these mini lessons to help people learn. So this is just a general overview of everyone. Sorry about the beginning, because I was on mute. My son pushed the mute button and I didn't even realize, like, I can't hear myself. Anyway, hopefully I can eliminate that part later. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining in, participating. You guys make it interesting. You guys make it bearable for me, makes it fun. It's just better having the interaction. Have any questions and anything, just leave them in the chats and everything like that. Also, thank you, and until next time, take care, stay safe, enjoy.